and welcome to another pen video from me, Penultimate Dave. So I have here another Leonardo, and this is a Leonardo Officina Italiana MomentoZero in the Grande version of the pen. So first off, I'd like to thank John at stjohnspens.com for loaning me this pen for review. If you haven't checked him out already, please go check out stjohnspens.com. If you want to check him out at a pen show, he will be at all of the UK pen shows in the 2020 calendar. He will also be at most of the European pen shows as well. But if you can't check him out there, check him out at stjohnspens.com or check him out at his Instagram channel, St John's Pens. So I think let's remove the sleeve on this box, and you'll see here a Leonardo Officina Italiana in a glossy black. If I unbox this box, you will then see the clamshell box that the pen comes in. And if I open that box up, you will see here a Leonardo MomentoZero Grande, and this is a lovely booklet, and it details what pens are available in the range. You can see there, and it has a number of the different models. It will also show you some of the regular versions versus the Grande version, so you can see a size difference there, but I'll also show you a size comparison as well. You also get this card as well, and it says important: do not remove the piston from the section the piston is fixed. Yes, it is. Do not remove that. And then you have the pen itself, and you also have a bottle of ink. So I think let's take the pen out, we'll leave the ink in there, and then I'll show you this pen in a little bit more detail. This is the Leonardo Officina Italiana MomentoZero Grande, and this is the copper, and this is a stunning material. This really is a beautiful material you can see here. It's a resin, it's not a celluloid, but it has a lot of depth, a lot of chatoyance going on there. So this really is a lovely material. So I think let's start off first. We'll look at the size of the pen. So the pen itself has a cap finial, but it's just a point, and likewise the blind cap is a point as well. You have this Italian style roller clip, and this is a functional roller clip. It does rotate the roller. The cap tapers out to this point, and then you reach these cap bands. Now you have 3 cap bands or cap rings there, but there's a 4th one. But if I unscrew the pen here, you'll notice that that starts to move, because that is actually on the body of the pen. The pen then starts to taper back down to this ring here, and if I unscrew this blind cap, you'll see that it's part of this thread mechanism. You can also access the Cartridge Converter from within this cap here if you didn't want to remove the entire body. For me, this is a really nice size of a pen. I do like these Grandes. If I unscrew the cap, you can see it in the size of my hand here. It really is a beautiful size, and if you really want to, you can post that cap. I don't, but you can do if you are a cap poster. Now, in terms of the nib, you'll see here it's a medium steel nib. All of the Grandes tend to be, but they do come with an ebonite feed, which you normally only see on the 14 karat gold nibs, which are the celluloid versions. But as you can see, the size of my hand, this pen really, for me, is very comfortable. I do like the size, I do like the weight, and I do like that this section is actually slightly more girthier than the standard MomentoZero. Even though it does taper down here to this point, and there is a ring here on the section, the threads here, though, if you want to hold it up higher, you can do. They're not sharp in any way. This is a numbered edition, as with all Leonardo pens, unless it's a limited edition, in which case it will show you the number of and then another number. This is not a celluloid version or a 14 karat gold nib version, so this is just a regular edition version, so it's just a numbered edition and not a limited edition. Just bear that one in mind. Now, I mentioned that this is a cartridge converter, and that is the cartridge converter, although technically it's not, I guess, a cartridge, because you cannot remove it and put cartridges in here. If you remember the card, it said do not remove this piston, because the piston is glued in. The reason why this was done is that this allows them to make a larger cartridge converter that holds more ink, rather than doing a piston. Now, you might ask, why not do a piston? Well, Leonardo actually do have their higher price pens that do have a piston in, and I think this was probably done to actually keep the price point down. So I'm actually glad that they did this. I was a little bit skeptical to start with, but I actually do like it. Now, the converter there, the knob, it says Leonardo Officina Italiana, and you have a Greek keyband. Now, what you can do is, if you try to turn the converter too much, it will click. And you're not breaking it, but that's just to signify that you've gone as far as you can, and then you twist it the other way. So for me, this is a really, really good pen. I do like this a lot. I do like the Grande versions. I have the Grande Sand that I picked up in October 2019 at the London Pen Show, and I do love it. And for me, these are really good pens. They are built very well. The workmanship on them are really good, and it comes with an ebonite feed, which means that you can get good ink flow as well. So I think with that, let's do a size check, a weight check. We'll do a pen comparison, and then we'll do a writing sample. So, in terms of the length, we are looking at around about 150 millimeters in length. The cap is 65 millimeters in length. And then the body of the pen, we are looking at around 130 to 133 millimeters in length, which is actually a really good size, and you can see that in the size of my hand. And likewise, if you wanted to post that cap, you really can, but you don't need to. You really do not need to, unless you have mammoth size hands. Let's do a weight check. Now, the weight of the pen, uninked, is just under 35.5 grams. The weight of the cap is 10.5 grams. And the weight of the pen is just under 25 grams. So that's still a pretty good weight. But you can see here, this really is a stunning pen. I do love this material, and I'm very tempted actually picking this up. I don't need any more pens, that's the problem. But these are fairly inexpensive compared to some of the pens I have in my collection, and these are good writers as well, which you'll see in a moment. But I think let's now do a comparison with other pens. So from left to right, we have a Pelikan M600 turquoise white, we have a Pinida La Grande Bellezza in the rhodolite, we have a Pilot Vanishing Point in black and gold trim, we have a Leonardo Officina Italiana MomentoZero in the Hawaii, we have a Leonardo Officina Italiana MomentoZero in the marbled green. We have a Leonardo Officina Italiana MomentoZero Grande in the Carabe. We have a Leonardo Officina Italiana MomentoZero Grande in the sand. We have the Leonardo Officina Italiana MomentoZero Grande in the copper. We have a Visconti Calido Voyager in the yellow dawn. And we have a Scribo Feel in the Verde Prato. So let's do a writing sample. This is the Leonardo MomentoZero and this is the Grande, and it is the copper, and it is a medium steel nib, and the ink in here today is Pelican, Edelstein, and this is Garnet, which is a lovely red ink, which I think actually matches the pen quite a bit, even though it's a copper colour. Now, this is a medium nib, so you are going to get a medium line. Now, these Grandes, you can push the nib a little bit more and almost get double the line variation. So these steel nibs, although still, you can push them a little bit more, but you're not going to get a huge amount of flex out of these. Now, in terms of wetness, you'll see here, do a vertical pass. It's not a massively wet pen, so it is a pen that you can write quite nicely in a notebook and turn the page without having any problems whatsoever. It's wet enough to be wet, but not overly wet. So I'd like to thank John at St John's Pens once again for loaning me this pen for review. Thanks go out to John. If you haven't checked him out already, check out either stjohnspens.com or check him out on Instagram as St John's Pens. He will be going to all of the UK pen shows in 2020 and most of the European pen shows in 2020. If you get a chance, check him out at one of those pen shows. If you don't have that opportunity, then do check him out either on Instagram or at stjohnspens.com. So that's my review of the Leonardo MomentoZero Grande in the copper with a medium steel nib. Thanks for watching. Please like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you on the next pen video. Bye bye.